Hey guys, this is Ken with Minotank, and I have Raj with Raj Nation Innovation. And today we're going to start our part one of a two-part series of Build Your Personal RockStar Brand. Raj, why don't you go ahead and lead us through how we can build a personal RockStar brand?
Thank you again for having me, Ken. Let's talk about how to build a rockstar personal brand. Emphasis on rock, aka if you smell what the rock is cooking. Let's talk about how to be more memorable, how to leverage your personal brand, be more memorable with your stakeholders, aka how to be like the rock. And now I know I totally just caught you off guard with that, so.
And my face is only a little bit red. No, it's fine. You do this every time. I mean, you make drug references, you start yelling it's fine. No, just keep going. I have no control over you. Can't stop you.
Kids, don't use drugs. How to build a rockstar personal brand. All right, so first thing I want to talk about with this. How to pitch yourself. And I don't mean your startup. I mean you as a human being. How do you talk about yourself? This is an area that I think a lot of founders just totally overlook because rightfully so, they're so focused on building their business, but they forget that it's also equally as important to infuse you into that as well. Like we've said before on this show, as investors will tell you, early on in the game, we bet on the jockey, not the horse. So focusing on your personal brand is quite important then. And when you talk about pitching yourself, you want to be able to communicate who you are. Most people will default to their qualifications and their work history.
Sure.
Which but that doesn't really tell me who you are at the end of the day, right? Like I'll tell you, Ken, if I met you and you just launched into your background at Merrill Lynch, I would leave saying I have nothing in common with this guy. But if you started talking about who you are, what you enjoy, what do you believe in, those kinds of things, now I can connect with you on an emotional level. A lot of people are familiar with the Simon Sinek TED Talk, Start With Why. I think that's a fantastic example to build off of. But a lot of people watched that and then they thought about, they had to put it in the corner that was cool, or they thought about how to apply to their business. But you got to think about how that applies to yourself too. What's your own personal why and how do you communicate that? So a very simple formula to use when you pitch yourself, you as a human being, is 3 sentences. Sentence 1. I believe in blank. Sentence 2. I do this by or through blank. Sentence 3. I do or I am blank. So for me personally, I believe in expression. I do this by, or I bring out expression through telling stories that connect people and ideas. And everything that I do is a mode of storytelling. What do I do or what am I? Well, I am the founder of Raj Nation Innovation, where we make your pitch a performance you can get investment. I am a hip hop artist. I am a yoga instructor. I am a guest on Minotank, right? All those things that I just said come out of a belief of expression done or achieved through storytelling. And what you're able to do when you talk, and I honestly, I've been using that pitch for myself for years now. And what I find is that I'm able to form an instant connection with people better. And they want to talk about the things that I care about because they feel it too. And I'm able to connect with them on that core fundamental belief level. Because if they have beliefs that similarly align, well, now you've got a better start to that relationship. You could work a similar job before, but that conversation is going to run out pretty quickly. Yeah, account management. Yeah. Clients, right? Deadlines. But if you can talk with someone about your fundamental belief system,
sure.
What do you value, that's going to change your relationship with them. And if the more you can relate to someone, as we've talked before on the show, the more you can relate to someone on an emotional level, the better that relationship's going to be. If you can tap into their heart, you can tap into their mind. So that's that formula. I believe in, I do this by, I do or I am. That's how you pitch yourself. And I'll always tell people the 2 pitches you always need to have in your back pocket are your what is my company and my who am I. People focus a lot on this, which they need to, but don't forget about that second one, the who am I.
Raj, do you have like an article we can link to that? Because I think that's a really nice way, like a nice little formula or like a, Raj Nation innovation worksheet, like how to make your personal brand. So is there something we can link to later for that?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right, absolutely. Good. Just making sure, because and we'll put that in the comments below. It's just really valuable because, like, even myself as another founder, I think I do a pretty good job of listing myself and my own personal brand, but I don't use a formula to help myself, do that. And I think whenever companies come to Minotank, we'd love for them to have that same formula. So that would be phenomenal. So, all right, cool. Yeah. So RockStar personal brand.
RockStar personal brand. If you smell, point number 2. Create content to get the word out. I know you're so focused on product development. I know you're working overtime just to ship this damn thing. I know. But be cool to spend some time as well creating content, not only about your company, but like what are you doing as a founder? How are you approaching things to help people get better invested in you as a person? I love when I see Medium articles of a budding startup founder, or a budding startup where the founder will write like, here's the growth hack strategy we just implemented. Here were the results. Right now I'm invested in him as a person. Yeah, he's talking about his company, but he's talking about like, how did he decide to run his company for a finite period of time?
Sure.
Not just like, hey, here's why we're amazing. Here's what the company is. Here's what it does. But here's what we're working on, and sometimes you'll even see Medium articles where it's like, I'm really excited because we're about to launch this. My team has worked so hard on it. Like, here's where I was focused. Like, this is what I've been thinking about nonstop for the last, 7 months. That helps you be more relatable. And I get it. It takes time, but it's time that you're investing in the success of yourself. Your success is your company's success and vice versa. So great content to get the word out. If you smell, point number 3, build a RockStar personal brand. Clean up your LinkedIn profile. Okay, I know this is like kind of obvious, but I've actually had like founders I've talked to who don't have a LinkedIn photo, and that one's even more obvious. But the area where everyone is missing the boat is the little bio section you get underneath your photo and your title, right? Now, Ken, I just want you to close your eyes for a second, all right?
Okay,
Everybody listen, close your eyes.
All right, closing.
Picture someone's LinkedIn profile.
Okay.
Right? Just pick someone you know and picture their LinkedIn profile.
I'll pick my I was gonna say my mom, but she's a bad example. I'll use one of my startups. Okay, I got it. Okay, go ahead.
Now, if you just scroll a little bit down, you get to their bio. In their bio, I'm gonna guess it reads something like, "I am a results-driven, goal-oriented, team player, passionate about communication. I work well with others. I strive to be my best every single day. I am someone who, in a cooperative environment, thrives off of deadlines."
Yep.
And so on and so forth.
Data-driven, goal-oriented, team player. Yes, all these words are just, and they just repeat it 6 times. Yes. Can I open my eyes?
You can open your eyes now.
Thank you. All right, good.
Thank you for indulging me.
No, it was great. It was good thought experiment.
So that type of rhetoric is prevalent. But let me ask you, Ken, have you ever walked up to someone and introduced yourself and said, "Hi, I'm Ken. I'm a goal-oriented, results-driven team player who thrives off of open communication environments"?
Can't say that I have, Raj.
I don't think anyone ever has. Yet here we are on our LinkedIn profiles, and we're talking like robots.
Spewing this nonsense. It's like HR trained nonsense, but what's weird is not a single one of us would actually behave like that.
Exactly.
I don't know. Who did this? Why do we do this to ourselves?
and here's like the crazy part of it all too, right? Like, the idea of personal brand, like personal is in it, right? But then we think, oh, I got to have a good personal brand, so I got to sound so professional and then take the personality out of it. No, put some personality into that sucker. Like, the reason why I hate that specific language we just talked through, outside of, how I said you'll never talk like that in real life, is who have you ever seen who has a bio that says, "I am failure oriented. I am not goal driven.
Maybe that's
I
what we
hate
should
deadlines.
do. That's what we should do. Let's just put this ridiculous thing, and then they'll connect with you and they'll say, "What is this bio?" And you're like, "Great, thank you for starting a conversation." Now I have
right.
Great.
Yeah, that's not
Genius.
bad. Not bad idea, right? Not a bad
Genius.
idea. So I think it's something like that. It's like you really got to put some personality into it, right? Talking like that is not making you sound different or better than anyone else or unique in any fashion, because no one is out there saying they're failure oriented. So if you think it's a differentiator that you're all of a sudden goal oriented and success oriented, you're not like, okay, great. So is everyone, right? Anyone who wasn't burned out like in high school. So that said, use this as an opportunity to write a little story about yourself. Use that elevator pitch that we talked about before, the I believe in, I do this by, I am. Right? Find some ways to infuse personality. If you go to my LinkedIn profile, I'm not saying I have the best one by any means, but
we'll link it right here. Go ahead.
I chose to treat it like it's like a movie poster. So it starts with like, Ebert and Roper give him 2 thumbs up. Barney Stinson says he's legend. Wait for it, Derry. Charles Barkley says, who is this guy and how much is he paying me to say this stuff? Right, like that's how I started. And then I launch into like, here's who I am, here's what I believe in. I'm a human curious George, all this stuff. My favorite one of all time I've seen is someone I know who wrote a little mini story where she says, in 3rd grade, our school had a test to see who could get into the like advanced mathematics program. One of the questions on the test was how long is a day? And I wrote down, or something like, how many revolutions are there in a year? And I wrote down there are 24 hours and 2 minutes in a day, because that's the exact amount of time, or 24 hours and 8 seconds in a day, because that's the exact amount of time it takes for the Earth to do one full rotation. They told me no, it's 24 hours exactly. I told them 24 hours and 8 seconds, because that's what scientifically the answer is. I didn't get into the program. Here's what I enjoy in life, and here's how I talk with people, right? And I got some of like the fine details of that wrong, but I remember that story and I read it 2 years ago.
That's really funny.
That's the power of good storytelling, even in a place like your LinkedIn profile where you want people to connect with you. And you think about too, right? Like if you are out there trying to make cold connections with investors, if they go and read, like they're going to click on you first. If they click and see that you're results driven, goal driven, all that stuff, right? It's great. So is everyone. But if you got a really nice little story you can package together about yourself or tell people what you believe in, that's a person I want to meet.
Couldn't agree with you more, Raj. Every time I look to hire someone on, whether it's been with a larger company or a smaller company, the first thing I do is peruse their LinkedIn. I can't say that I actually look at the intro because you're right. Like it's such crap every time that every time I just skip over it. I do make sure they actually have a picture and they do have some kind of cover photo. But more importantly for me, it's always based around having more than 500 connections. LinkedIn is a really low bar, right? 500 people that you know, which is a really weird thing, but also required. I don't want to talk to someone who's unable to make more than 500 business connections. As an adult, if you go to any networking event, you'll probably meet between 50 and 100 people. I'm small town, big town. Go to a big networking and breakfast somewhere, you're going to meet a lot of people. You should, at this point, already have 500 connections. That's my personal caveat. I'll just say that I would never hire someone, much less, it's really hard for me to work with someone if they don't have 500 connections and they don't take their professional brand seriously. And that's what LinkedIn has done for us. Mm-hmm. We all can see, where does someone work? It's up to date. It's specific. The challenge is, I'll tell you, Raj, that investors themselves do not play by these rules. So for our startup founders, when you are researching an investor, please do not think that just because their LinkedIn profile is out of date, that they're not serious. Quite the opposite. Right. Over and over again, I see investors who could not care less about their LinkedIn profile. So just be cognizant of that. You have to play by these rules. They do not. So that's my 2 cents of being in this.
I think the key learning there is once you have tons of money, you can do whatever you want.
You can just care less. Yeah. But I think it's kind of funny because once you do have a lot of capital, and if you have a better brand, you think like, look at Richard Branson, he is extremely wealthy, but also leads to an amazing brand. And you feel that much closer to him because he doesn't have to. You know that Richard lives on an island and he does not have to come back ever again. He can do whatever he wants. But what does he do on purpose? He goes out in the world, he reinvests in entrepreneurship, and he's an amazing human, and you respect him so much more because he has so much money. Unlike some other people we know who might run countries who are not so great with their money. So who knows? But I think I can get behind what you're saying, cleaning up your LinkedIn profile and your professional profile, right? Like, probably you should have like a signature on your email. Maybe, I don't know, basic things, right?
But even you said be professional about it, and I interpret that as meaning take it seriously, like take it.
That is what I mean.
Time to invest in. Have personality though, right? Don't be rote, but professional meaning like really invest in getting yourself out there.
Sure. And I think one of our recent segments was about being sterile, right? We're talking about big brands and how they're really bad at being sterile because it's safe. Don't do that. You're human, right? And like I tell every one of us startups we talk to when they apply to pitch on Minotank, they join our wait list at minotank.com. What we always say is we want to see who you are as founders. The reason why we bother doing all of this work for video and trying to help you expand your pitch is because, yes, you can send a pitch deck to anyone. You can send me a PDF. I'll look up the pitch deck. Very interesting. But who is going to run that company? Who is in charge, right? It's not an automatic system. That system does not reach out to new customers and find them. It's the humans behind it that organize and evangelize to make that thing happen. So don't forget, you are the secret sauce as the founder. It's so important that you are there, and the investor knows that. They're not dumb. They know that you are the person that's going to be running this machine. So I love it, Raj. RockStar personal brand. Do you want to do a quick recap? I know this is part 1, but we have 2 parts, correct?
So this is part 1 of a part 2 of how to be more like The Rock.
Yes.
With a RockStar personal brand. Number 1, pitch yourself. Know how to pitch yourself. Simple formula. I believe in, I do this by, I do or I am. Point 2, create content to get the word out. Talk about what you're building as a company. Talk about your own journey as a founder. Number 3, clean up your LinkedIn profile. I don't want to see anyone who watches this video have a LinkedIn bio that says results-oriented, goal-driven, data-driven, whatever that might be, team player, right? Everyone is. So write something that's interesting. And I would even challenge you to, in the comments, copy-paste what your bio is today. And then we can workshop it.
Right. Yeah, everyone in the comments, if you guys are interested, please put your LinkedIn profile, at least give us a link to it, or if not, just put your actual, what your intro is. We'd love to read it, and we'd love to respond to that on a later episode. So show us that, because we'd love to talk about what your personal, RockStar brand is.
Next week, when we do part 2 of RockStar personal branding, I'll go into a couple more examples around this stuff and actually tell you how I think The Rock would tell his story.
Okay. All right, Raj. Well, thank you very much. That's part 1 of Personal RockStar Brand. All right, we'll be back next week with a little more. Thank you.
You smell what the Raj is cooking?